I want to get to some of these debt ceiling talks, Congressman.
Yeah.
We know that there's enough revenue coming in every month to the Treasury to service the interest on the debt that we owe and still leave a lot of money left over,
right?
Even without a debt ceiling increase. Democrats want the debt ceiling increase so they can continue to spend the way they've been spending the past couple of years. So if they insist on these tax hikes in the negotiations for a debt limit increase, do you have any problem not voting for a debt limit increase?
Yeah, I've already said I will not vote for a debt limit increase if it has tax increases in it. I will not do it. That was a commitment I made in my campaign. I'm going to live up to that commitment. I've signed a pledge that unless there is significant, it has to be very clear parameters, and I think it makes common sense that there's got to be real cuts right now, not something 10 years from now, but right now there's got to be real cuts in spending. There's got to be real caps on any future spending, and we need a balanced budget amendment for us to even consider increasing the debt ceiling. There's things that we can do, again, that the Democrats have refused to do through the Senate, where we could give some prioritization and some ability for the Treasury and others to pay bills, pay our interest payments, make sure that seniors are paid, make sure that our military personnel are paid, that we have some prioritization to payments that are made. Right now they don't want to do that because they want to keep that hanging over our heads of, if you don't do this, our military personnel aren't going to get paid or our seniors aren't going to get paid. Let's just take that off the table. That's what I'd like to see happen. Let's make sure that these priorities are paid, but that we can really talk about this huge growth that's happened over the last 2 years of unbelievable spending with no accountability, with no budget in place. So I think there is so much that we can do. I'm not going to vote for a debt ceiling if it has tax increases in it. I'm not going to vote for a debt ceiling unless it has significant cuts right now, real caps that work, and a balanced budget amendment that can pass Congress and get to the states on a path that it can go through. That is what would really significantly change the direction of our nation and how we handle our finances here, and doing it in a much more business-like mindset rather than the way government has always done it, where they don't want to be held accountable.
Because, Congressman, when it comes down to it, and we've heard this over and over again, the problem in Washington right now is not a revenue problem. There's no need for additional tax revenues, as the president keeps saying. It's a spending problem. I mean, when you're right. It's a $1.5 trillion deficit this year alone. That's a spending issue.
Yeah, it absolutely is a spending issue, and where the revenues come, and people just don't get this, is the fact that we've got 9.2% unemployment is absolutely having an impact on the amount of revenue that's coming in. So as we get people working again, there'll be some natural revenue growth. That's the right kind of revenue growth. When I was down in Springfield back in the late 90s, we had revenue growth every single year without raising taxes ever, because we had the growing economy back then, and that's just been killed in Illinois, and we see it being killed across the country as well. We've got to get people working again, but we've also have to go after the spending. It just can't sustain itself where it's gone from, it was about $10 trillion, I think, when this president came in. Now it's very close to $15 trillion, 50% increase of debt, or close to it, just in the time that this administration has been in office. So it's got to change. We've got to do it now. This is one of those rare times in history where we've got the ability to do something significant, and I'm committed, and I know many of my colleagues are committed to not give in until something very significant takes place.